We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. This is a special session of Trinity County Commissioners Court. The date is Thursday, September 3rd, 2015, a little after 9 a.m. We're meeting in Trinity County Commissioners Courtroom, 162 West 1st Street, Trinity County Courthouse, Groveton, Texas, 75845. I'd like to welcome everybody. First item of business, call the meeting to order, and welcome everybody. Thank y'all for taking time out of your day and coming and seeing how county government works and taking an interest in it. And with that, we will move into the next item of business, which is discuss an act on changes to the fiscal year 2016 proposed budget. And if there are no objections, the memo I have prepared with the changes since the last time we met, I can go down them and then we can discuss them one by one. So the following change, this memo is dated September 3rd, 2015. The following changes were made to the proposed budget after it was filed on August 14th, 2015 in the county clerk's office. Page 3, we have an elections administrator. Line added an elections administrator with an official salary part-time of $10 an hour for annual salary of $14,560. Social Security $1114, retirement $1485, office supplies $500, educational school dues $2,000, elections $30,000 for a total in that line or that department of $49,659. Page 3, county auditor, official salary goes from $37,312 to $40,312. Vehicle allowance goes from $6,100 to $0. Social Security $6,809 to $6,571. Retirement $9,078 to $8,762. Telephone $1,400 to $1,550. Educational school dues $3,600 to $3,500. Total county auditor changes $110,989 to $107,385. County treasurer added line for personnel director at $20,800. Added new line for DP software and hardware $3,000. Social Security $41.95 to $57.85. Retirement $55.93 to $77.14. Postage $1,200 to $1,300. Printing $250 to $600. Office supplies $1,200 to $1,400. Educational school dues $2,500 to $5,000. Total county treasurer changes $70,819 to $101,480. Going to the next page. Page 6, tax assessor collector. Add assistant chief deputy at $22,300. Noting that is not adding a position, that's just breaking out a position and what she currently has in the tax office. That's not actually adding a position, it's just taking one of the, and I'll tell you who it is, Nancy Slaughter, and giving her that title of assistant chief deputy. Chief deputy salary $23,960 to $22,690. Education, school, and dues $3,000 to $2,500. Social Security $95.59 to $95.76. Retirement $12,745 to $12,768. Postage $8,000 to $5,500. Total tax assessor collector changes $180,755 to $180,526. Emergency management 911. Emergency management assistant salary $1,000 to $0. Web maintenance salary $0 to $22.96. Social Security $2,088 to $21.88. Retirement $27.85 to $29.17. Total emergency management 911 changes $34,923 to $36,451. Page 10, the sheriff, official salary $55,000 to $45,000. Social Security $29,838 to $29,073. Retirement $39,784 to $38,764. Total sheriff office changes $610,162 to $598,377. Page 11, non-departmental reserve fund. It's going from $83,260 to $44,818. Total non-departmental changes $496,060 to $457,618. JP1, vehicle allowance $6,000 to $7,000. Social Security $34.15 to $34.91. Retirement, 4553 to 4655. Total changes for JP1, 56,537 to 57,715. JP2, vehicle allowance, 6,000 to 7,000. Social Security, 3415 to 3491. Retirement, 4553 to 4655. Total for JP2, $57,887 to $59,065. JP3, vehicle allowance, 6,000 to 7,000. Social Security, 3415 to 3491. Retirement, 4553 to 4655. Total for JP3, 57,237 to 58,415. And then JP4, vehicle allowance, 6,000, 7,000. Social Security, 3415 to 3491. Retirement, 4553 to 4655. Total changes for JP4, 56,587 to 57,765. So, if it's court's pleasure, we can just back up on this memo and start going down the line. What's y'all's pleasure about leaving things in or taking things out or moving around or however you wish to do it? And if any of the office department heads are here that have questions about what's been submitted about their budget, feel free to address the court also. Ms. Rayford?
I don't have any questions, but I want to reiterate how much we need our part-timers. I've spoken to everyone. I've done research into the other counties that are our same size to see how many people they have. I understand that when I was given a part-time position last year, that it was to be a temporary position, and after our office got that up, that position probably wouldn't be there anymore, and I assumed that she would probably go back to the judge's office or to another office and wouldn't lose her job. When I got into office, I found that it was in really, really bad shape because they only had 2 people in there for so long. It got really behind, badly behind. I spend every day, unless I'm in court, I'm catching things up. Kathy and Lisa do the stuff up front, the new cases every day. I do the criminal, they do the civil, and I also do the tax suits. It could take easily to the end of my term to catch up with what is behind it. What most of you probably don't realize, and what I forgot to mention to Tiger and Neil and whoever, is that if the reports that I do every month aren't turned in, we're going to lose our grants. And if we lose a part-time person and somebody's sick or anything like that, and I have to be in court, the office is going to be left empty if Kathy's sick on court day. And then I'm going to be doing cases all week long and won't be able to do those reports. So it could be really, really bad. The county deserves for the office to be brought up to where it needs to be.
No doubt.
It's just going to be a big mess. I mean, me and Kathy are already extremely busy. Lisa's extremely busy. We don't have any time where we're sitting and doing nothing. It just doesn't happen. So we really need help.
In addition to what you've already said and all you've got going on in the office, you've got the e-filing transition going on too.
We already started doing it. It's a mess.
Yeah,
So
I have no doubt.
Every time we bring one in, we end up having to call Tyler Technologies to fix it. And that takes an hour on the phone, easy, sometimes half a day. This is just, Robertson County is 16,000 population. They have 4 full-time people. Camp County is 13 population. They have 3 full-time people. This is Bandera County. They have 20,000. They have 6 full-time people. So I don't want anything extra. I just don't want Lisa to lose her job.
What is San Jacinto County and St. Augustine? They're more our size and in our neighborhood. What do they have?
I don't know exactly, but I know they have more than 3. I can't remember the last time I went over how many they had. I think it's 5. That could be wrong. Yeah.
Some counties still combined. I know years ago the district county clerk used to be combined.
Yeah, none of these are combined. These are all just district clerks.
You know, Chris, I talked to you the other day, and I know you you might have time to let it sink in, everything about the scenario, and I visited with other commissioners. We've been talking about for years up here that the commissioners, we've never had an assistant. The judge's office has always been gracefully help us, the treasurer's office, the auditor's office, but our business kind of gets scattered around, and we've always, and I've been saying it for years, need some help. But probably not full-time, but just, and I pitched the scenario out to Kristen the other day after talking to Neil and Jimmy, and I visited shortly with Rich about it this morning, and it's just an ideal, there's nothing said of us sharing her part-timer up there and let her do some work for the commissioners and let her help Kristen as needed up there. And I don't know if that'll float or not, it's just an ideal. I mean, y'all think about it and see what you think, but I guarantee this, as far as our permit system, it would be good. We've never had a number up here at the courthouse that people in the daytime when we're out here on the roads, a lot of people know our cell phones, some people don't. We're hard to get hold of. We're at that barn very shortly in the morning and very shortly in the evening, and it would be good for us to have a number up here for people and she could take a message and call us or give them our number and handle our mail situation. We could all have one box that she could handle our mail situation and our bills that come in and work between that office and the auditor. I think it's a need for it, and I think I believe we'd have to work the scheduling out with your office, but I think it could be worked out, but that's just an idea.
I have no problem with that, because I've done it before. I don't even mind helping. I mean, I can help her do it. I know that's not my job, but I can show her what needs to be done. And I would be completely open for that, just because I don't want her to lose her job. And, I don't see a problem with it. I don't think she would have a problem with it personally. Y'all just could have some file cabinets in the IHC room or something for whatever you need, and then if she put y'all stuff down there, just when we don't have any space left. But I have no problem with that. I don't think she would have any problem with that.
Now, would you be looking at her remaining part-time and then sharing service between you and the commissioner?
Whatever she's been paid now.
Yeah.
And just no add-on to it, just continue that, but just split it up
Gotcha.
amongst them.
How many grants do you have that you're working off of? You mentioned
They're
grants.
not our grants. They're grants we did at the county.
For the county.
They benefit the district and county attorney.
And you say we're in jeopardy of losing them if we don't.
I caught up the reports that had not been done in over a year. And we were about to lose the grants, which was not something that I don't think anybody really was aware of. And when I went in January, I became more aware of it, and then they started calling. And these were reports I didn't even know were supposed to be being done. And I found a great big pile of them, all the way from April of last year that were in default. So, and me and Kathy caught up.
The delinquent tax attorney, Mr. Bell, he told me here a couple of years ago that they could file a lot more lawsuits if the district clerk's office could handle them, but at the time they was overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. So, that's a possibility too of them, and Tapp told me that himself, that it's just, they couldn't drop 500 lawsuits in there because there's no way that office could handle it at the time.
Right.
And I've caught up.
That's why we gotta get away from being overwhelmed.
And
Yeah.
if we lose the part-time person, we're gonna be overwhelmed. I mean, we're borderline overwhelmed as it is. I am, but I'm doing the tax suit, so I don't wanna put that on them because they're really complicated. Don't lose that person.
We could certainly use some administrative help in the commissioner's area. Precinct 2 has an assistant county commissioner that isn't paid. It's called my wife.
Yeah,
But it would be a very important
right.
function to have somebody available to help us out.
And I don't mind her taking messages for y'all in our office. I don't see any problem with it, and I don't think she'd have a problem with it either. So,
Well, and whether we did that or not, I think we have to recognize your assessment of that situation and say, if you need a part-timer to continue so we get caught up and get out of the overwhelmed position, we need to do that.
yeah, I mean, there's days, and our reported it, that we have 50 or 60 people walking our office, 100 and some phone calls. It's really, really busy up there, so.
Does your current budget, Judge, include the continuing with that part-timer?
Yes, it does, yes. Yeah, what,
Here's the emails that I got from other clerks, where it shows how many people they've got. I only got 3 responses yesterday.
yeah, this current proposed budget does still show the part-timer, Kathy and Lisa in there.
I'm done.
Thank you, Ms. Christian. Does anybody else wish to address the court before we start down the list here? Count on those deputy or clerk's offices. You need that back, Christian? You want that back? Okay. So I want to start on the memo, just going down the line of, or whatever's the court's pleasure. The elections administrator job on page 3. Get y'all's feelings on that.
I told the clerk, I went by and visited the clerk yesterday, and I told her I was not against the election administrator. I have actually advocated for one for 2 or 3 years. Just figure out a way to pay for it. It looks like that with this, the way you got this here, that we already appropriate $30,000 for elections.
Correct.
So
I
that's
just moved that.
Yeah. So that's not 49. Really, we'll be increasing it like around 2019 something.
Yes, exactly.
And we can also could expect some from the parties. We don't know. It's kind of a moving number of how big the elections are going to be, and other entities now. I do hear that some of the entities are not interested, and this is a new deal. After they see how it works, maybe they might come aboard and everything. I'm not totally against, like I said, I've advocated for an election administrator. Talk to other counties. A lot of the things I do up here is I do by talking to other counties and see what they're doing in other counties. And most other counties has an election administrator. A lot of counties, even smaller than us, has an election administrator. So if the funds are available and the other entities are willing to share some of this cost, it might be a time where we can get into the business of it without a very big cost of it.
Right.
That's just my opinion on it.
I concur.
Any other feelings on that? Let me add, I concur also. If there are no more questions on that, we can move down to county auditor. And these numbers here were, was that Monday afternoon?
This actually isn't what was approved. That's not the right total.
Yeah, you're looking at that $3,000 travel?
I didn't bring it with me, I provided you with it, so I didn't think it was necessary to bring it with me. I just know this is not what they approved, so I'll have to get that to you again.
Well, okay. Well, I can visit with you afterwards, because I actually talked to Judge McClendon about what you had put together, and he had a problem with that, but I'll get with you after the meeting. Okay.
Well, was the meeting approved? I mean, was it, budget was approved? Okay.
Is it higher or lower than what's on here?
Same dollar amount on the bottom. The bottom line didn't change.
The way I understood the $3,000 was to be backed out, and you could travel. If you travel, you can require mileage reimbursement.
That's correct, but the bottom line of the budget didn't change.
Well, we'll have to visit with the judges about
So
that.
it'd be a travel allowance line added in there, is that what you're saying?
In-county travel.
In-county travel, yeah.
And that does not incorporate into your Social Security and retirement benefits, correct?
Correct.
It does not?
That is correct.
Okay, okay. All right. Nobody has any more questions about that? We move on to the next item is the county treasurer, and the big jump in there is looking at that personnel director. It's on page 6 of the budget. Mr. Dawkins, did you wish to address the court anymore on the issue, or?
We've talked about it.
Okay.
I'll talk about it again if you want.
Yeah.
This came up because I thought I was doing my job. I perceive a situation with our county as it relates to personnel. The way that I operate is, I thought when I saw something like that, I was to bring it to commissioner's court, which I did. But what I do not do is I don't bring problems to people without solutions. I have brought 3 different solutions for y'all. And you can do, like I said at the very, very beginning, you can do whatever you want to do. It's fine with me either way. So I'm not sitting here advocating that you do this. I offered all 5 of you, when I gave you that outline, the opportunity to come by and visit with me one-on-one for specificity of how it would work in the procedures. If you approve the personnel director, or the other choices if you did not. So, other than that, I think it's just strictly up to y'all. My
Okay.
feelings are not going to be hurt either way, one way or the other.
Okay.
I'm good. So if y'all say no, I'm fine with that too.
Well, Bob, here's my take on your office now, and this is no pun to nobody else, and I hope nobody else takes it this way, but I think y'all doing a heck of a job in there. I think with your expertise, and Rebecca, of course, she's babying right now, but once she gets back and everything, I really like to see you give it a little more time and just see how, because I really believe y'all got the qualifications to do it. I mean, it's going to take a process to it, and it's adding, it's adding 40,000 just in salary to the budget, and it just seems like we've talked about these other positions and everything, it adds a lot of more to our budget every year and everything, and I honestly believe that with your expertise, and I'm just really, really impressed with Rebecca, what she can do in there. I think y'all could, but it might not. That's just y'all. You know your own.
I just don't want there to be any
Yes, sir.
misunderstanding. No, I agree with you completely. That's fine. I just don't want there to be any misunderstanding. And I don't mean that in a smart term. I mean that in an explanatory
Right.
term. I don't want to be any misunderstanding that the treasurer is the HR department
Right.
or the personnel director. Other than that, we're good.
No.
And if y'all want to wait, that's fine with me too.
And I was at TAC conference last week, and I asked a couple of county judges, and I think one treasurer I talked to, and of course, they all agreed with everything you said, that it's a changing world. But they's also still doing it like the treasurer's like, yeah, I'm doing it, but they agreed with what you said, that it comes a point in time with all the new policies and procedures, something different's going to have to happen, because they're going to be overwhelmed just like you're talking about too. And that was just a couple, 3 of the counties. Tyler County I was eating lunch with the judge, and I asked him about it. And
It'll be a lot more expensive.
I know the trial in Tyler County Treasurer.
It'll be a lot more expensive when it happens.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Dawkins. I don't have anything else, so.
But in this, now I was looking at the auditor's deal. The judge had got this down to a part-time position. You've noticed that, Bob?
No, it's not. Where you at?
28, is that full-time?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
full-time at $10 an hour.
$10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, total, what was this? It was a 31,000, $30,000.
$1,000 job.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. So,
It wasn't 40. I said that wrong. I
Right,
said
yeah.
40, but
Okay.
it's 30.
yeah, so. Anybody else having anything to interject on the personnel director's job? And I tend to lean the way of Tiger speaking, is looking at maybe going another year and seeing how things go, and then maybe next budget cycle, see if we couldn't work it in, if need be. But, yeah, that's my feelings, so that's...
If there's anything that we can do as department heads, Bob, that we pushed off on the treasurer, that maybe, I know we turn our time sheets in and stuff like that, but for personnel, our personnel, road and bridge personnel, let us know, because I know in the years past, we pushed a lot. I mean, we'll push it, whatever anybody will take on, we'll let them do it, you know, and you know, me and you visited about tax, got a lot of resources, you know, and I didn't make the meeting. I listened to the tape about the conversation y'all had about renewing with the insurance on TAC. But just keep in mind on that insurance, that's what funnels TAC, and they offer a lot of free services that they couldn't offer if the counties didn't buy insurance for them. I mean, they, from legislative to everything that they offer, they're there available to help counties, but they can't do it if they don't sell insurance, because they don't operate off the dues we pay them or anything like that. They operate off them insurance premiums, and to take that into consideration in the future when you talk about renewing with insurance with them.
So the general consensus of the court to hold off on that HR position for now, or?
My vote is that we have a personnel administrator or coordinator, but it's obvious that it's 4-1, so. You gotta be able to count to 3 when you become a commissioner, yeah.
We should be counting to 5.
True.
Pardon?
We should be counting to 5.
I agree.
Oh, next thing is, nobody has any more questions on that. Tax assessor collector, which is on at the bottom of page 6. I received a memo from Ms. Lindy yesterday discussing some changes on her salary. That's the reason for the breakout in the assistant chief deputy at the 22.3. And then she changed some numbers on those bumps in pay. So, any questions on that? If not,
Her department mainly just dealing with the raises. There's not a lot of increases in anything. I mean, that's the only difference.
yes, yeah. All right, we'll move on to emergency management / 911, which is on page 9. I went back and shuffled numbers around on that. Left the $26,000 for the 911 mapping coordinator, carried emergency management assistant salary down to 0, and then web maintenance salary brought back up to $22.96, and that changed the Social Security and retirement a little bit. So.
I visited with the auditor about this the other day, because I was a little confused about it, but now the first and the third line, that is Julie's salary, is that right?
All 3 of those were.
That's all 3 of them?
Yeah.
Okay. And, okay. There'll be a little bit of increase in the top 3 lines, but we heard from Mr. Van that DETCOG's going to increase
Yes.
their portion, so it's
Yes.
really not a cost to the county.
Right.
And it's really a wash, I mean.
And Mr. Van, he says Julie does which I know she does an outstanding job over. She's brought that 911 addressing to places where we never thought it would be with what she inherited.
Yeah.
So, but,
I mean, I guess what I'm saying is the disbursements here is going up a little less than $2,000, but I'm hearing from DETCOG they're going to we should have revenues close to $5,000.
Right, that grant, it went up to 30,000. Yeah.
So, I tell you, young guy, she, just like Bob's saying with their office and everything over, she does, I mean, all of our offices, I think, are operating at peak levels now. I mean, I tell you, and Julie she does a good job over there, and a lot of people don't know what all she does over there. I mean, and with this 911 and everything. I don't know
There's
if she
an
sends y'all the
influx.
emails that
Yeah.
she sends me with the new addresses and all.
Yeah.
I'll get 3 or 4 a day, just about it.
I was gonna say, there's an influx here, and it seems like the last 6 or 8 months of people moving up here and buying property, and she is very busy.
That's one of them things you love, that it's not going to cost you anything. There's money there to take care of it.
Right.
There's gonna be a lot more people moving here too. On 94, they sold on that
RMS
and they
land.
got 800 more acres. They split it all up and sold every acre of it. And now they got 800 more
Really?
across the road, and it's selling. That's what they're gonna do with it. So we may have-
Subdivided, yeah.
Apple Springs
May be bigger than Groveton here shortly.
If you look at what GIS coordinators make, even in small markets, we've got a real value going there right now.
No doubt,
We really do.
no doubt.
She's right on the verge. I'm just talking with her that she's going to have to make a move if something doesn't happen. I mean, that's the only thing I ever worried about when the judge, I'd question when he talked about moving back in-house, is usually, I mean, you just don't pick up somebody like that can walk right into that system right there for what we can afford to pay them, you know.
Right. All right. If nobody's got any more questions on that, we'll move on to page 10, the sheriff's. I think the only change to that, and I visited with Tiger yesterday, I just dropped that $20,000 increase to a $10,000 increase. And that changed, of course, that backed that down to 45, and then it changed that Social Security and retirement a little bit. But y'all want to discuss that? Still feel that's high, low, or about right, or?
I took my position last meeting.
Well, and I told the sheriff I went and talked to him, and he knew where I stood on it going in, and I told him that I would consider all options open until we finalize this budget and everything. But I told him originally what I felt about it, and I've listened to all the pros and cons about it with the outstanding job the sheriff's done and the money he saved us and everything. And I want him to continue to do that, you know, really do.
There was some discussion about maybe some raise this year and a promise of more the following periods. I don't think the Commissioners Court can commit another Commissioners Court to a deal like that legally. We don't have our attorney here today, but I'm quite certain that we can't do that. We have to do in this year's budget whatever we're going to do, and next year's budget whatever we're going to do. We can't put any provisos in there that encumber another Commissioners Court.
But I'm just going to say one other thing there, and I want the public to look at it. I don't know, do they have, is this available to the public?
Yes.
And everything, but, and like I said, I reiterate and I know, I firsthand see what the sheriff's doing over there, and I appreciate it. He's doing a great job. But if you'll pull over there a few pages back to the entire Road and Bridge Department, in all 4 precincts is going up $4,000. The entire Road and Bridge Department. I mean, you do the math on it. And that's for us to operate however many pieces of equipment we got, buy all the materials that we need, and it's increasing materials and fuel. And we're going to have to give our employees the salary increase is not figured in this, so we're going to have to figure out if the other employees is going to get a raise. We're going to have to give our employees a raise out of our budgets. We've got to do all of that and maintain this road system here in Trinity County for $4,000 more this next year. And basically that's because we've had to reduce our dependency on the federal forest, and we did put more tax money in there, but after the wash, it come out to $4,000. Now, this road and bridge department is a more than a little small construction business. It's a medium-sized construction business, and if you talk to any construction business person, they think they could operate the same equipment and everything to going into another year for $4,000. They tell you it's crazy. But I just want the people and the public to be aware. You know, the commissioners take a hit up here sometime on different things about being villains and this and that and all, but you just try to operate a complete road system from one year to the next with a $4,000 increase.
Well, we had the good fortune this year of about $2.5 million in
Grants.
grant funding that went directly to the roads.
And I recognize that. It's definitely, but it's something you can't count on, just like the forest stuff you can't count on.
I understand.
Yes,
We
sir.
also had
I just want-
to wash away.
Just want to bring that to everybody knows that, I mean, but I just want to bring it to the forefront, and it's not that we're against the sheriff getting a big salary increase or his department getting increased, but every department, y'all heard the department's burdens that it is on the county and the budget, and it's an increase. I mean, the judge and I visited yesterday, he seemed to think the latest number was 400,000 of increase in monies we got to work with, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Judge, you told me that the reserve line had went up to 43?
Yeah.
Or went up
nearly
43,000. And we're not, it seems to me like we're spending more money for new things than we are trying to save money. But I know they're needed. I mean, but it's more government. I mean, what it is, it's more government. But people, if that's what the people want, that's what we've got to do, because we're elected to do that. But you got to understand that it's more government. And a lot of people say, we don't need more government, we need less government.
We've got to keep in mind, having said what you said, we've got to keep in mind too that commissioners can find a way to give the road crew some increased compensation during the year by adjusting their budget. In fact, some of the road crew in this current fiscal year got increases. The other departments don't have that latitude for some reason, so we need to keep that in mind.
If you're referring to me giving my employees a raise, I'm going to explain it, because the judge thought it was necessary to tell the sheriff that I secretly give a raise to my hand. Well, that is not true. I went to Bob Dawkins. I had him figured up what I wanted to give them.
I was making a general comment,
Well,
Commissioner.
I'm making one now. I'm going to say this, because I want it all out in the open. I don't go behind those screens or hide nothing. But when I look at the payroll checks, and a man that's been with the county doing the same job mine are doing is making dollar for dollar for what my man that's been there for 20 years.
There's no argument on that.
Okay. Well, I gave my 2 full-time employees a raise. I don't back up from it. My employees are the greatest as far as I'm concerned. They do a great job taking care of my roads, your roads, and hauling rock for the city of Trinity. I took it out of my budget, and I gave them a raise. I didn't know what the procedure was when it come down, so I talked to Bob, told him what I wanted to do. The next week I come in, and there's a slip in my mailbox where the county judge signs off and the auditor signs off and I signed off. So I hadn't hid nothing. I didn't give no.
There was no discussion about hiding a thing.
Well, I've heard
It was a general comment about raises and how they're administered.
I've heard it from other directions, and I want to clear it up in front of everybody. But
Good, I'm glad you
In
did.
the dark. I do it all in the light.
Good deal.
Now, one more question while I'm on this. Through everybody's budget, from the county treasurer to county clerk, district clerk, and everybody, can somebody explain to me why Road and Bridge pays their insurance on their employees, but everybody else's employees is paid out of the general fund? Is that just because it's always been done that way? Or what is the logic behind this?
I asked probably 8, it's for Judge Page here, to get that moved. And if we have to move the dollar amount with it, so be it. At least we won't have to incur the increases every year. I mean, it would kind of be somewhat unfair if we just said, move it out of there and let us keep the money that line is entailed. But if we'd have done that 8 years ago and all the increases that the insurance has done, at least the road and bridge wouldn't have to have them. And I suggest now that we take the health insurance and the workman's comp insurance, anything to do with the employees, elected officials and the employees, and move them over in the line item with the health insurance and the workman's comp of the rest of the employees. And take the money and move it over there too. Just take it out of our budget and put it over there. I mean,
Take it out of our budget.
Well, the
Why
money
would you
that's...
take it out of our budget.
Well, because it's always been appropriated for our budget. I mean, the general fund, my health insurance in my department is $20,000. I don't know what y'all's are, but the general fund can't take that kind of hit this year. There ain't no way. I mean, how you gonna come up with what everybody's health insurance is and take it out of the general fund?
We're adding 3 employees or 2 for sure.
Yeah.
And we're gonna add that, and that wasn't figured in.
But
And, all the other employees are all the elected officials that have assistants and double assistants and triple assistants. The general fund pays for all the insurance.
We should have done it, I argued about it years ago, it should have been done years ago, and that's back when my department was probably paying $8,000 for total insurance, and now they're up to 20. That'd be $12,000 more dollars I'd have to work with right now. So,
Right.
I suggest we do that, and I don't see any way that the general fund can pay for it, and us keep the money. I mean, that'd be great, but I don't see that happening. I mean,
I don't have a problem with doing that, like you're talking about, moving.
and at least, at the very least, when we have these increases from year to year, the road and bridge won't be kind of suck these increases up, you know, it'll be the general fund. I mean, it'll be basically a wash for us. We won't get the money, but we won't be paying it neither.
Right.
I mean, that's just my opinion on that. Let everybody else talk.
Anybody else care to interject on that?
It'd be the same thing, you know?
Yeah, just, yeah, pretty much. And I can do that. I can move it back into the general fund.
And I don't know why, and it was this way when I come on here, I don't know why our salaries have been split out.
I was wondering that myself, and that was done.
That's something I think Judge Thornton done years ago, and
Sheila, has it always been that way? Well, I think this budget needs to be simplified. And everything that Precinct 3 gets, and me as the elected official, all my compensation should be in one spot.
It would be less confusing that.
I agree. We got people that look at this budget, they say, I don't understand, and then I get a call. Why does it don't show your car allowance over here on this line item? Well, I can't answer that.
I think one of the things that's confusing also is this department that says commissioners on page 3. It's more commissioners court because there's a line item there that's education, school, and dues that had $3,000 budgeted in it for this year. We've already spent over $4,000 out of that line item, and that's taking that line item down to 0 for fiscal year 16. So I looked to see what was paid out of that line item, and it's commissioners court expenses. It's everybody's debt costs, memberships, the meals. Joe Ellis represents the commissioners court, so it's his travel and his meals. So that's another issue, is that if you're going to take that line item down to 0, you're going to have to put that money somewhere.
Right.
Because you can't, unless you don't want to pay $4,000 for bills next year.
Yeah.
It's got to be paid from somewhere. That's another issue. That department is more about court than it's just commissioners.
Yeah.
You could look at the name change also in that
I think our
department.
NACO dues and our association dues, do you pay that out of there?
Commissioners
Yeah.
Association, NACO, WECOG. Those aren't individual commissioners, they're individual to the court.
Okay. What about on that department, the official commissioner's salary? We move that back into, instead of it being there, move it back over into each commissioner's respective budget?
Or vice versa,
Yeah.
or vice versa.
Yeah.
I mean, just like the insurance deal, we're talking about the insurance, it would simplify it if it's all in one deal now.
Right.
You know, I don't know where this, I've never seen, I don't know if this is new, Sheila, or not, with vehicle allowance being in the commissioner's court department and it's zero. I mean, I'd love for the general fund to pay my vehicle allowance, but I know that's not gonna happen. Our vehicle allowance comes out of our individual budgets.
Right.
A discussion with some of the public about, they feel like that, and it is part of our salary. I've never tried to deny that, but the original thinking of that was, when we done that, instead of just incorporated into our salary, it seemed like it's more transparent to people to know that you get a vehicle, you
True.
get 18,000.
Yeah.
It looked like if we'd have incorporated it into our salary, people would have said, well, you just hid that into your salary, but being broke out, that it is a vehicle, it is an extra. I mean, if it needs to say commissioner's vehicle allowance, I mean, I want to be as transparent about it as it can be, you know, but it is.
Since it's budgeted there, it can be taken off of that line. Since it's nothing budgeted.
Yeah, I can, that,
It is budgeted, each commissioner's budget, it can just be taken off of it.
Also, in the paper every year, you know, we have to put in the paper our compensation, our full compensation. Every year that comes out what our full compensation is, and it is with the vehicle allowances in there, so.
right.
I never denied it being part of my salary, or,
It's a very small amount by the time you pay for your vehicle.
I understand.
Huh?
We could pretty much do away, if it's feeling of the court, and Sheila, correct me if I'm wrong, but that whole box there, that whole department, just leave transfer to road and bridge, and then everything else could be moved into each respective commissioner's budget.
Well, your problem lies in the education school dues line item there, as I stated, it's not just the commissioners, it's county
Okay.
commissioners association, so
What if we just leave those two then, transfer and then education, school, and dues?
you can make the department read commissioners court, not just
Okay.
commissioners. That would be my suggestion.
I'm not following you, Sheila. You got $3,000 here for education, school dues. And in our budgets, we have a line item that comes out of our budgets individually for school and education.
Right.
So this 3,000 is for who?
It's, I can show you.
When you go eat at that cog, they pay you lunch, stuff like that.
he's got it right there.
It's specifically for court type, like your $1,500 here, that's your, what is it, County Judges and Commissioners Association, that's the annual dues. You got NACO, which is an annual dues for the county as a whole.
Page is that?
Joe
17.
Ellis,
Yeah,
he's the representative of the court.
Tiger's budget.
So it's his memberships and his lunches, and then when y'all attend lunches, you can see lunches.
So that's what that 3,000 is for.
Yes, and it's, we've already spent over 4,000 this year.
And we need to take the rest of it, put it on the commissioner's budget, and put that in a line item by itself.
Well, I would say be more transparent to say this is a commissioner's court expense, and to keep the education school dues there. It's for
That's the wrong page.
That's fine. I just want to simplify the budget.
Where y'all are being charged in your separate departments is for your specific educational school.
Yes.
There's one difficulty here, and I'm for that, but it seems to me, you know that the road and bridge budgets, the commissioner's budgets, if you will, always total the amount of income that we have coming in.
Correct.
No, not a dollar more. As soon as you transfer all those other expenses and don't change the income, then we're going to be shown as negative to the amount we actually bring in.
That's the job of the budget officer.
Would have to if we take and transfer this to y'all's respective budget, we'll have to
reduces
pull it out of the general fund.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd kind of, I don't know, I can go either way, but I feel like it would be better to do it like we done the insurance. If we're taking the insurance, putting it in the general fund, maybe we need to take our salaries out of our road and bridge and put them in and keep these line items. It seemed like you'd want to do both of them the same way. I don't know, that's just thought there. I mean,
Well, that's
I just-
what we were talking about.
Well, what we're talking about is getting it all together and not having it split out.
I want it where Joe Blow can come up here and look at this budget and understand it, and it not be confusing that O'Neill Smith's got this over here and he's got this over here. It should be on one page.
I agree.
And doing it like this will pretty much do that, except for, like I said, to just show that transfer from ad valorem taxes to y'all, and then that, leave that line, that education, school, and dues for like Sheila's talking about.
That's fine with
And
me.
then everything, yeah, like
I've never
this.
understood why it was split out, but like I said, that's something Judge Thornton done, I think,
Yeah.
many moons ago.
So like that 98,029 on page, top of page 3, we'll just break it out into each of y'all's respective salaries and plug it into your budgets. Yeah, if that works for y'all. Oh, where we
I got you off track with the
Oh, that's all right.
sheriff and the comparison, Judge, I
Yeah.
apologize.
No, that's quite all right. That's what, where I think we talked about the sheriff. Did we get done talking about the sheriff, or?
The only salary you decreased was his from 20,000 to 10,000.
10,000.
All the other ones that y'all plugged into this budget, you left them just like they were, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And that would bring the deputies up to 30,000 a year?
Correct.
That's the original one we looked
Right.
at. That hadn't changed.
That is correct, yes. Yeah. Nobody has any more questions about that? Of course, the reserve fund, it will go from 83,260 to 44,818 with the way we have things put together with that HR person and the EA in place. That's what drew that, the majority of what drew that down. So,
That'll come back up now with some of the decisions we've made, right? If we're not gonna fund the personnel director at 20,000.
true, yeah, yeah. JP1, all the JPs are basically the same, other than the fact that the vehicle allowance went from 6,000 to 7,000. And that's what they had requested. And Mr. Smith, you brought that up last week in the budget workshop, and was able to incorporate that into this proposal.
Yeah, I thought that the JPs needed an increase,
I agree.
so.
With visits I had with them, they did ask for an increase. Well, I'll take it back. Judge Martin and Judge 2 and 3 over there, but Judge Blair said he didn't ask for an increase in his salary, but 3 of them I talked to said they, all with the vehicle, they had asked for an increase in their salary.
Right.
I listened to the first budget that I did over here at 13, and Judge Blair told us at that time that it was a little low, but he had been keeping up with it. And so I remembered that, and then talking to the other JPs, they told me the same thing. So that's where I got my data from.
Okay.
Yeah, they're probably, realistically, if you look at the salary survey of the state of Texas, the JPs are probably ridiculously, embarrassingly low.
The what?
The JPs are out of all of our salaries, including the sheriff and mine and everybody else's, the JPs are, if you look at it across the state of Texas, they are embarrassingly low. I mean, I wouldn't even tell anybody what our JP, I'd be embarrassed to tell what one of our JPs make. You know, I mean, it's,
We understand that it's considered a part-time labor. We understand. Granted, I spend 40 to 50 hours on my job.
Right.
I can't speak for the rest of them, but I don't expect to pay like a full-time position.
Right.
You're doing a whole lot better job, seems to me like.
Well, I appreciate that, but I understood where it's paid from the beginning.
I mean, you know, they give $3,500 raise to some people, they ought to give him a little.
Not natural, and we wouldn't welcome a raise. That's not
Thank you, Judge.
But, you know, I did
You're really good.
pay.
I talked to him.
I appreciate the raise that I got last year and one time before. I appreciate it.
Okay.
But as far as vehicle, 6,000 is didn't cover. We do
Yeah.
appreciate the consideration for self.
Okay. All right. That's all I had, I think.
Improvements. You've got 10,000 in there for parks.
Right.
We had 10,000 in there last year. What, did you spend the 10,000 that was in there?
I have not yet. I'm going to visit with someone about redoing that fence out there.
So why we need 10, that's what that was for last year, you said was for fence. So why we need 10,000 more in there this year?
It's not 10,000 more. It's 10,000 for last year and 10,000 for this year. It's not going to add up to 20,000. It's going to stay at 10,000.
Oh, you're moving the 10,000 that you didn't use this year to next year?
Well, I've got another 30 days to use it this year.
Huh?
I got another 30 days to use it this year. I mean, it's not rolling over.
10,000, and then you're putting 10,000 more into the parks. That's what I'm saying. Last year, when you talked about putting money into the parks, you said you wanted to build a fence out there.
Right.
And you put $10,000 in it.
Right.
Okay? The fence hadn't been built, and you're fixing to spend the money to do whatever you're gonna do out there on the fence. And you've got 10,000 more for next year. What is that gonna be spent on?
Different things for the parks. The park at the Y, the Kickapoo Park, maintaining it, keeping it in order. Anything we may want to add or modify out there.
That building, you could still, I mean, that was a big improvement we done on that
It's in a
building,
building,
but
yeah.
that could still need a,
Well,
could
the
use
Senior Citizens Center, let's see, that's,
They got a 50% increase.
We're gonna probably have to get somebody, I mean, I don't know how the mowing goes out there. I mean, that's one thing that needs to be done out there. It needs to be, like we talked about, either
Right.
tractor bought or contract. Somebody will do some contract. I believe we'd be better off
I'll show you.
But,
Something I would love to get done out there. I took a picture of this the other day.
My software got locked up off the budget for my GoPro. It's living out there.
It's not there?
Yeah, it's $522.
And that your fiscal year 15, y'all agreed to let it have ongoing, and it's just not, it wasn't added to your budget.
It's 542, so 600 would cover it.
It's exactly 542, yeah. I think I wrote it 600 because we had to add a portal for e-filing. That won't cover it, but I would eventually do something somewhere else to cover it.
Okay, I'll get that plugged back in. I apologize for that. So,
I think we ought to take a look at JP's, trying to give them, because we've all talked about how much more income, they're like the sheriff, they're saving us a lot of money, and we give the sheriff, we're gonna give the sheriff $10,000, I wouldn't,
I'm ready to give them some. They need a little raise.
I think we need to think about giving them a little bit of increase.
Who's that?
The JPs on their salary. I imagine anything we could come up with, they'd appreciate it, but
so,
I don't think they want $10,000, but. Yes, that'd be a good idea.
we're going to calculate a 5% increase? Or,
I know what the numbers would be.
okay.
What is their total, what is their salary is 14?
20, the JPs?
Yeah.
23,039.
That'd be 100,000, 5% would be about 5,000,
Yeah.
less than 5,000.
Yeah.
Just an idea, just throw that, I mean, we've already heard the reports, and we got one good one left, and we got three good ones on board now, and I think good things are to come out of there.
I agree. And I can figure that in, 5% increase on the
What do y'all think?
let me get this straight. With this budget that you put together this time, the numbers of the taxes and all that, there's only gonna be $44,000 left to go in this reserve fund, and it was made such a big deal that we need to put it in reserve, and I agree with that. But now we don't have a $44,000 in reserve.
Actually, we got 44 over in reserve. We're going to have a surplus in INS of about 30,000. Because
But we're gonna-
figuring-
And that's gonna take care of all the taxes, tax money, and we're not gonna be able to reduce taxes at all. We're gonna leave it at 65 cents per hundred.
That's my feeling.
I just won't get the feel, because I gotta go home and study this before I decide what I'm gonna do. And, again, Judge, I'm still asking for, a copy of each elected officials. I've asked for it in writing, and I still haven't got it, under the Open Records Act. That's been 13 or 14 days.
I submitted a AG, or a request for AG opinion last week, and I'm waiting on that at this time.
What is the big deal?
On the AG opinion,
No, why you gotta get an AG opinion? Why are we not entitled to see every part of the documentation that we have up here as commissioners?
because I want an AG opinion on it, and I'm entitled to that.
I believe if you'll check the law, county judge can't get an AG opinion, what I've been told.
You have to show me that. So,
Yeah.
I done the numbers last night, looking over this, and raises alone, and this is excluding the district clerk. I didn't really understand what Kathy's salary, how much it'd be going up, and in your office, if them salaries would be going up any. But excluding them two officer raises, all the total raises come up to $53,849. That's a big portion of that
right.
money you're talking
How
about.
much?
$53,849.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna hush. I ain't happy with the whole procedure of how this budget was put together. I've got lots of questions about it that I don't understand, and, I'm just not real happy with it. I believe as a commissioner, we ought to be able to hear from the elected officials themselves. And this budget you put together is yours, your opinion, and you went through there and give people raises that you wanted to, and took money away from people you didn't want to or didn't like or whatever, and I just don't agree with that system.
Okay.
So,
One other thing, Judge.
Yes, sir.
The county attorney, the extension agent over here called me yesterday, and he said he turned his budget into you and he didn't ask for no increases.
Right.
And he said he didn't know, he was under the impression nobody's gonna get any raises, but if all the office help gets raises, I don't know if he told you this, said he was gonna call you, he was pretty busy, but he said he would like to see his assistant. If everybody else, he didn't turn it in, but I guess it would look kind of bad if all the help in the county got a raise and she didn't,
Right. I completely understand. I can look at figuring that in also. So,
He did say that's what he had turned in.
Yes.
He did turn it in.
okay. Anything else for this budget workshop?
What's the reason for the meeting tomorrow, Judge?
We need to work on setting a date for public hearing on the budget.
Is that all,
Which-
is that all that's on the agenda?
Yes, yes.
why couldn't we do that today?
So we didn't get the...
Give sufficient notice.
Yeah, we didn't give
right?
sufficient notice.
Gotta wait till Friday.
11 o'clock tomorrow.
Isn't there a schedule?
Yes.
That kind of we're on
Yeah.
for approving the tax rate and...
Right. And I'm tentatively looking at this public hearing for the budget on the 18th of September, if that works for everyone.
And putting in the paper our salaries and stuff like
Right,
that.
yes, yes, we have to get all that done. Yeah, we're under the gun between now and the end of September, getting all these public notices done and postings in the newspaper and all that. So,
9 a.m., September 18th.
11 a.m., September 18th.
The meeting tomorrow is 11 a.m.
I'm sorry, 9 a.m., the 18th. Tomorrow is at 11 a.m. Too many meetings going on. Anybody have anything else? Anybody else wish to address the court? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Commissioner Brown,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Chamberlain. We adjourn. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. We stand adjourned. Thank y'all.